should cell phones, or should students be required to be 16 and up in order to own a cell phone?
No.
And the opening side is the affirmative. They will be arguing for a ban of cell phones for those under 16. Okay, so who's your opening? All right, let's welcome Alex. Okay, Alex, remember you will have 3 minutes. I'll be your timer. I'll give you a little warning if you start to go over time, but hold on,
Okay.
I wonder if you can read
hold on just a sec, my phone's being uncooperative. Just one moment. Sorry, I gotta get my timer ready to go. Okay, and the audience is silent while we
Don't do that.
wait to your speakers. And remember, when other teams are speaking, we are listening. All right, Alex, your time begins now.
Okay, so the topic of the debate is, should kids under 16 not be allowed to have a cell phone? And we say yes, they should not be allowed to have cell phones. Basically, we have 3 main reasons why kids under 16 should not be allowed to have them. Number 1 is this thing called nomophobia. Nomophobia is the fear of being without mobile phone contact. And to put it in perspective of how bad it is, it's like how nervous like you get before like a game or a wedding. They like compare it to wedding day jitters is how bad it is. And then a survey was done by YouGov, it's a research organization in Britain, to look at the anxiety that occurs when people can't have their phones. They sampled over 2,100 people, and what they found is that nearly 53% of mobile phone users tend to be anxious or get really nervous when they lose their mobile phone or run out of battery credit or have no network. 58% of men and 47% of women that they surveyed suffer from this thing, nomophobia. And 9% of the people feel stressed even when their phones are just turned off, like when they can't even have them on. 77% of the students check their phones at least 33 times a day. A recent study by mobileinsurance.com has revealed that the average person spends 90 minutes a day on their phone. That may not sound like a lot, but that adds up to 22 and a half days a year, and 15 years of the average person's life is spent staring at their phone screen. That adds up to 16% or 16 years in a person's average lifetime if their average lifetime was 100 years. Our second reason is cell phones interfere with learning at school. CNN did a study on whether cell phones would be helpful or not helpful in schools. We found that the effect of banning phones for these students is the equivalent to adding an hour a week to the school year or to add 5 days. So basically it gets a lot of extra learning in for schools that do not have phones. Our third reason is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is bullying that happens over the internet or technology. Younger kids with cell phones have more ways to interact with other people online than they ever have in person. Even though this type of interaction does not take place in person, the emotional and physiological effects are just as bad. Kids that are bullied are likely to experience anxiety, depression, loneliness, unhappiness, and poor sleep, explains Jennifer Claude, a certified family physician from Philadelphia. It's heartbreaking, this is a quote from her, it's heartbreaking to see that over 4,000 kids commit suicide each year to cyberbullying just from having a phone and having social media. This is why kids under 16 should not own a cell phone.
All right. All right. Okay, thank you so much. And your opener is John. Let's give John a big warm welcome. Okay, just let me make sure this is set. All right, Johnny, your time begins now.
Should teenagers under 16 be allowed to have cell phones? Of course. You kidding me? There are a lot of negatives and perfect beings that have to deal with, but when your little 9-year-old daughter is out with friends and she somehow gets lost and you're worrying, about her for that whole night because she didn't have a cell phone to be like, Mommy, I am lost and scared. This is one of many times that kids need cell phones. Not only are cell phones good to have contact to your precious children, but you can install apps on them, not just games, but not just games, that will benefit you as a parent when they go out. You could download Find My Friends. My parents use it a lot, and it's a two-way app, so like I could find my parents and my parents could find me if I ever got lost. Having a cell phone will benefit you, and cell phones may be a harm to children's pure minds that haven't had any impure thoughts. But that is the parent's decision to decide if you trust your kid to have enough responsibilities or not.
Okay, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you.
Wait, is he good to go?
I'll just wait. Let's all finalize our notes. If you're taking notes, which you should be.
Pretty tense.
Okay, now we are ready for the rebuttal round, and so let's welcome Wayne. This is kind of
Where?
And we have a 2-minute rebuttal round, and your time begins now.
Okay, so my opponent is saying that yes, they should have phones. They say teens need a phone for safety reasons, which social media and other stuff on the internet, most teens put their social info in apps and or social media. So like Snapchat or Instagram, you have to put stuff in that, and then you take pictures every single day. They also say teens can be inconsistent with friends and family. Yes, that is true, but which all the new media and apps that are out, you can literally contact random people instantly. So like one time, Alicia or Chloe found this girl on Instagram. It allows teens access to useful apps. It also exposes them to bad apps or things on the internet, such as cursing or bad cursing or bad influencing role models.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, and for our rebuttal on the no side, let's give a big warm welcome to Abby.
How many of you guys have a cell phone? How many of you guys are under 16? Safety should not be a worry with cell phones. There's tracking devices and your parents can always keep in touch with you. As my opponent said, there are many suicidal attempts from cyberbullying, but suicide doesn't always come from cyberbullying. Not having a phone can leave you left out of the conversation, and people could feel left out. And it's not only that's going to leave you with an empty feeling, but that can also lead to suicide too. Having a smartphone can teach you responsibility. You can be smart, and you don't have to, sure, there's ways to be drawn into bad things, but you have to be responsible and know that that's not the right thing to do. You can always keep up with your mom and dad. When you're lost or you just feel sad, you're always with your mom and dad in a touch of a button. There's not only apps to keep your child safe, but you'll always be able to be in touch with your parents. And say when you have a child and you're worried that they're going to be lost or something, do you want them just roaming around without any contact with you? No, you want to be sure that they're safe and that you can always be in reach with them.
Okay, thank you so much. That was our rebuttal round. We are now going to move into the questions and answers. And the yes side will get to ask questions to the no side first. You'll have 2.5 minutes of question and answer time for each team. We ready? Okay, your time begins now.
Okay, Abby. So you said in your argument, you said that there are lots of ways for kids to be exposed, but it's about being responsible. Where is it? People did a study on whether or not kids could be responsible with their phones, and what they found is that 90% of kids who have a phone go on stuff that's not school related in class, and 80% of kids do actually use their phone for schoolwork. How do you feel about that?
Well,
John?
well, you said that 90%. 80% of kids don't use their phone for school use.
No, like what I mean by that is they go on games and stuff during school.
Yeah, but it's their responsibility to know what they're doing, and it's not only theirs, it's their teacher's responsibility.
And I
Yeah,
did
so
my
what I'm
work on
saying is,
this.
this study says 90% of kids aren't responsible enough to not go on good stuff during the class. I mean, John texted me during Wayne's rebuttal. That just goes to show, I have it right here. That goes to show the kids are like on their phone doing bad stuff.
Thanks, John, that helps a lot.
We don't like you. That's what he said.
That's a good thing to say.
I said that before class.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
I said,
Okay, well.
What were your websites you found for your research?
Childdevelopmentinfo.com and
NBC.com.
yes.
Alright, I think we're good.
Okay, let's give a hand to that team for their
See, John just texted me.
Okay, and you
killed it.
folks will also have 2 minutes for your question and answer round. You may begin now.
How would you feel if let's say your 12-year-old daughter is, let's say, 12. Let's just say they're out to lunch with their friends. How would you feel if you had no contact info with them?
Well, one, I mean, I could trust her. But, like, there's other devices besides phones that can help, like, be in contact with, like, kids and stuff. Stuff like that.
Like a phone.
No, there's other devices.
Okay. Like a phone. Oh, walkie-talkie.
iPad. Get one, Kevin. No, I don't. I have one.
Okay, here's my question. Hello.
Hi, YouTube.
My question is that you say that it's bad that people are addicted to games, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's true. They are, but okay. What I'm trying to say here is that there are a lot of important apps on the phone that can actually help you. You know, besides texting and calling.
Yeah, I think what Gabe's trying to say is that there's entertainment and there's a way just to be connected with other people. And sometimes when you feel that you can't have like a connection with that maybe can lead to depression or that could lead to sadness, and it could just kind of leave you kind of empty when you don't have any connection with your friends.
Thank you, Abby.
And also with games and stuff, it provides a way of creativity, and it can maybe give your child some more imagination, and it just allows a lot of creativity.
What's my question?
10 seconds.
Your question is like, how do you feel about like?
That they're having games and that they're, like, entertaining apps?
Yeah, like you're saying that it's bad for a kid not to have like. What's coming across to me is that like, it's bad for your kid to have something like that because it's gonna lead to bad things.
You're saying it's bad
Well,
for
wait,
the.
can I answer the question?
You can answer the question.
Well, I'm not saying having a phone will automatically lead to bad things, but like from the facts I've given you, most of the kids that have had phones have gotten distracted during school or bad stuff's happened to them. Like you. From the survey.
Okay, let's give both teams a big hand for the question. Okay, we're not going to do that. This is a formal debate. Okay, so we are ready for the closing statement for the no team. Let's welcome, who's speaking for you?
Gabe.
Okay, all right. Let's all give Gabe a big warm welcome, guys.
Go Gabe.
Well, here's my closing. To sum up why cell phones should be allowed is for communication purposes, tracking purposes.
And just have fun.
Because when you have to drive for almost an hour every day to school, no one really wants to look at the pavement.
Who does?
So you look at class plans or whatever. Your latest Instagram post, and why you have less followers than Kim Kardashian? Really? Well, that's original. Well, that's it.
No, it's not.
What?
Never mind.
I feel like I did something really wrong that you don't want me to.
You're all good. You're all good.
Yeah! Oh, I can't do that.
Okay, and for the final closing statement, Wayne, are you going to be closing for yours? Or who is? Who's supposed to? Oh, okay. Let's give Wayne a big hand as he closes it up.
So after this debate is clear that people under the age of 16 should not own cell phones, we have presented evidence and data that reveals that cell phones can cause neophoma, where teens are actually addicted to their phones. We have also predicted evidence that cell phones interfere with learning at school and can be significant causes of cyberbullying, which with the data presented, one can only come to a conclusion that kids under the age of 16 should not own a cell phone.
All right. Thank you.
Etching.
Let's go ahead and finalize what you're writing here for just a second. You guys can stay where you're at your seats there at the table. Hello?
I'll just leave one. It's like the new style.
Mr. D, can I record you?
Sure, that's fine. I'll be right back. Okay, so, all right, that was a very interesting debate. Let's talk about what were some of the big points. This time I'm going to ask you guys to point out what are some of the things that stuck out to you from the debate, not just entertaining moments, but facts and information that stuck out to you. Ready? Yes.
When they talked about the nomophobia.
Okay, the nomophobia. Okay, right? Okay, yes.
They give 3 strong reasons in the beginning about why it's bad.
Oh, good. A numbered list of very clear things at the beginning.
Presidents do, and they win.
Okay, and I wrote that down as well. I wrote down that there was a clearly numbered list of things. Good speaking technique. Great.
Kevin.
What else stuck out to you?
They were
Just got-
showing like the importance of like responsibility and keeping in contact with your kids.
Okay, so this team emphasized that, the importance of being able to be keeping in contact with your kids and teaching them responsibility. Okay, good. Kevin?
John also proved a fact that for this team.
Okay, John helped to prove a fact for this team.
Yeah.
Okay.
From his
Text message.
text
From
message.
sending a text message during the midst of the debate.
Yes, he did. I have
Okay.
proof. You want to see it?
They're time stamped. It's okay. Ready?
So I liked, at the beginning I liked how Alex pointed out the things he said, and like Abby's argument, both of them were like a tie for me. So they
Okay.
did
All
good.
right. Interesting. Okay. Good. Yeah.
I liked how Abby said that cell phones are a good way to keep in contact with your
Okay.
parents.
Okay.
And, yeah, like location apps. and
Okay.
things.
Yes.
They answered their questions. They both really answered their questions really well. They weren't
Okay.
like fail.
Okay. No Uber fails. I did notice at least one question that wasn't a question. And then I noticed one question that was answered but not specifically. So one question that was wasn't a question is, these are helpful apps on the phone besides games and entertainment. And then it kind of was turned into, how do you feel about that? Which isn't really a question, you know what I mean? And so that was a little awkward for them to respond to. But then there was the question where this team was asked about how would you like your 12-year-old daughter to go out with friends and not have contact? And this team answered that there are other devices or other kinds of things that people could use, but didn't actually name any. Like didn't say, as an example, you could use this or that. So that was one thing that I kind of noticed where there were some issues with the question and answer times or whatever. Both teams made really great arguments. Both teams had some important things to say and to point out. I noticed that this team used a lot of specifically cited statistics. And statistics are powerful because they don't tell you what the world's like in your imagination as much as what we really find when we study things, right? So statistics carry a little bit more power and a little bit more weight than like anecdotal things do, like stories or just regular illustrations. So that makes statistics make for really good like argumentation. So that was good use of that on that side. I think both teams raised some really interesting issues, like the safety of children is a huge concern for parents, right? And as it should be, parents are always concerned for the safety of their kids, right? Now, however, I will just say, and I'll just suggest to you something interesting. Somebody could have come back from this team to argue and say, and this doesn't count towards the win or the loss, but somebody from this team could have said, well, for 2,000 years of, or more than actually 2,000 years of 4,000 or 5,000 years of human history, people have never owned a cell phone. And so were people far less safe before the existence of cell phones? Can you provide evidence that shows that before children all had cell phones, that there were more, kidnappings, murders, things like that? And that would be an interesting question for you to have raised for this team, and it would have been interesting if you had cited some studies that showed a decline in childhood incidences of kidnapping or injury due to having a cell phone on them, being able to call for help. So a statistic there would have been interesting, right? Like that's another thing we could kind of look at and ask that question. Yeah?
I had a question. Why is it 16? Like, why did you?
I just chose the number.
Oh, okay.
I chose the number because we let people drive at 16 and we let people do certain things at certain ages. So I just kind of picked a number that was kind of like associated with a certain kind of coming of age kind of thing, like you get your license, you drive. At that point you think a kid might be on the side of the road by themselves and need a phone or something like that. I kind of picked it as just an artificial number to work with in debate. So good question. Okay, now we're all going to close our eyes.
Kindergarten style.
Everybody's going to close their eyes kindergarten style. Cover your eyes, don't be peeking through your fingers like John is.
He's not doing a very good job.
That's the worst peeking I ever saw. Cover your eyes, really.
You're like,
okay? All right, ready? Stop it, John. We're not voting until you cover it for real. I saw that. Okay, right now, everybody, put your hands down because I haven't called on this vote yet. Let's take this seriously so we can vote well. Okay, if you are voting that the yes team won, please raise your hand. You don't get to vote for yourself, yes team. Okay, and hands down. If you're voting for the no team, raise your hand. Hands down. Hands down. You can't vote twice. Brandon, your vote doesn't count.
No.
But the yes team still wins anyways. Okay,
Dang
give a hand, everybody. Yeah, all right, you can put your phone away now. Or you can put the camera away now. Show's over. Good night.